Today we're taking a look at one of probably the funniest,
Slept like a log.
the most savage,
Please don't! I don't want to!
Goodbye.
and all around probably the most not give a fuck character of the Kingdom Hearts series.
And now, your betrayal outstrips them all. What final words do you have for your superior?
Well, let me think about it. How about you were never my superior?
The one, the only, Axel or Lee. First I'm going to start off with the pre-nobody events. So Axel's real name is Lee, who is most likely from Radiant Garden, where he first became best friends with Isa, later known as Cyax. Lee also met Aventus during the events of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. At this time Lee was just a teenager, and not much else is known about his pre-nobody / early life, but we can surely confirm that he joined the Organization 13 with Isa. Now we're going to Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories. Axel here is introduced as a very mysterious character who is ready to get into a fight and get rid of the traitors when it's necessary, even going as far as pretending to be one of the traitors just so that he can infiltrate them and discover more about their plans in taking over what we knew at that time as the organization. This is the time where we know the least about Axel and where we still don't really know his motives. Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days is probably where we see Axel get the most character development. We find out he's actually a very funny, laid back and lazy and overall a really enjoyable character, especially when he's in the company of his friends Roxas and Shion. He acts kind of like a big brother to both of them, and while showing them the ropes in the organization, it slowly develops the friendship between all three of them. He later starts meeting with his friends on top of the clock tower in Twilight Town after the missions so that they can hang out, look at sunsets, and eat a fuck ton of ice cream. Like, it's an unhealthy amount how much they fucking eat during that game. Here we can also see that Isa, or now Cyax, seems to be a little jealous of Axel, his new friends, and overall how Axel's treating him. After all those years, they kind of grew apart and their friendship slowly begins to deteriorate. Unlike back when they were kids and they at that point were still best friends. Axel, while trying to be a good friend to Roxas and Shion, is at this point still pretty loyal to the organization. At least we think. Until we find out that him and Cyax have plans of their own to take over the organization. Axel is also shown to really care about his friends, despite him being a nobody at this time. And even though that during this game we learn a lot about him, that he has a very laid-back personality and all that stuff that we already know, there's still a little bit of a mystery about him, because we don't still really know what he's up to, just like we had in Chain of Memories, but not as much. In Chain of Memories he was kind of pretty unknown. He still hasn't completely betrayed the organization for his friends, and this is probably the last game where we see Axel think of Xemnas as his superior. Axel is soon going to face a very difficult task, one that even him, who is known to deal with the traitors, will find very hard to do, and that starts off with Kingdom Hearts 2 events. Since this game takes place just after 358 over 2 days, we realize that at this time, Axel's best friend Roxas has no idea about any events of the previous game. Axel is here tasked with bringing Roxas back dead or alive. At first Axel tries to bring Roxas back, but soon finds out that Roxas has no idea of their friendship in the last game or knows anything about his life in Organization 13. After realizing that Roxas has no memories of his past life, Axel says that in the organization's meeting room that Roxas didn't really betray them and that he simply can't come back, because of course he has no recollection of the events of the previous game. Here is where Axel is ordered to destroy Roxas if he refuses to come back to the organization, something he would usually call the icky jobs, or orders. When Axel comes back to the digital Twilight Town where Roxas is, he tries to bring Roxas back once again, but he is stopped by Diz, who leads Roxas to the old mansion on the final day of Roxas' summer vacation. After Roxas' disappearance, Axel is trying to do everything he can to bring Roxas back, even going as far as kidnapping Kairi just to turn Sora into a Heartless and then get Roxas back. After that, Axel apologized to Sora for what he did and even sacrificed himself to save Sora and open a portal to the world that never was. And this is really where we can see how much of a legend this character is. And I'm gonna play a little scene right now.
I think I liked it better when they were on my side.
Feeling a little regret?
Nah, I can handle these punks. Watch this.
Whoa! You're fading away.
Well, that's what happens when you put your whole being into an attack. You know what I mean? Not that nobody's actually have beings, right? Anyway, I digress. Go. Find Kyrie. Oh, almost forgot. Sorry for what I did to her.
When we find her, you can tell her that yourself.
Think I'll pass. My heart just wouldn't be in it, you know? Haven't got one.
Axel, what were you trying to do?
I wanted to see Roxas. He was the only one I liked. He made me feel like I had a heart. It's kind of funny. You make me feel the same. Kyrie's in the castle dungeon. Now go!
Axel.
Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. After initially completely failing to get Roxas back and returning to his human form alongside most of the other Organization 13 members, Axel decides to join the Guardians of Light, even gaining the power to wield a Keyblade and becoming a new addition as a Keyblade wielder. Of course, Master Yensid is pretty shocked at the fact that Lee wants to become a Keyblade wielder, but he accepts to train. Also, one important thing during this game is that Axel or Lee, he saves Sora from becoming the 13th vessel for Master Xehanort. I'm going to speculate a little bit here and say that probably his main motives behind saving Sora is eventually getting Roxas back, even though he failed pretty bad in Kingdom Hearts 2. But at the end of Dream Drop Distance, we actually see Lee making great progress, even summoning a Keyblade of his own, to which this whole scene leaves all the other characters in the room just completely mind-fucked. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire game. So I'm just gonna play that right now, and we're gonna go on to the events of Kingdom Hearts 3.
I'll catch up with you in no time flat.
What? You want to be a Keyblade Master?
Yeah. I mean, I came here to learn how to wield one.
You?
Hey, thanks for the vote of confidence. You know I was gonna come swooping in, Keyblade in hand. But I just couldn't get mine to materialize. Must be in the snap of the wrist or something. Oh.
Wow!
Kingdom Hearts 3. At this point, Lee starts his training at an undisclosed location alongside Kyrie. Here, Lee also tries to remember what he forgot, that probably being Shion. Lee also remembers Ventus, who he hasn't seen in years, and wonders has Ven still got him memorized, as he would say. Later in Master Yensid's tower comes one of my favorite and one of the funniest scenes with this pretty much a legend of a character, as I said. He asks where does he fit into this whole story, and finally mentions that Roxas and Ventus look the same. At this time, Lee probably wants his brain to freaking explode, because he remembers that he has to explain the whole thing about who is Roxas to Ventus, and that, as we know, is a game-long story. The dude probably has a massive headache at this point, and this is where he says,
Ven looks just like Roxas. Or is it Roxas looks just like Ven? And now I have to explain all of that to him, which is in itself a crazy long story. And apparently everybody already knows everyone, and this is an insane amount to get memorized.
Sorry, Lee.
You remember me?
Yeah, of course. We're friends. I can't believe you became a Keyblade wielder just like me.
Oh, yeah.
Axel, you know Ven?
Axel? Who's Axel?
See? Major brain ache.
And now towards the end of the game, he meets back up with Isa on top of the clock tower in Twilight Town, where it is really apparent that their friendship is still pretty broken, and they have a bit of an argument on top of the clock tower. Axel then pretty much loses his shit and tells Isa or Sayax to get lost. Later in the Keyblade graveyard, Lee also faces some of the darknesses, but the most notable moment for Lee is where the voice actor Quentin Flynn, again what a freaking legend, acknowledges how popular his character is, which leads to my favorite scene, which is the dialogue between Lee and his former boss Xemnas.
Xemnas.
There was a time when I trusted you to deal with traitors. And now, your betrayal outstrips them all. What final words do you have for your superior?
Well, let me think about it. How about you were never my superior?
Ever the rogue pawn. Knocked from the board early in the game. Utterly useless and forgotten.
Are you kidding? Do you know how popular I am? I got loads of people rooting for me. Sorry, boss. No one axes Axel. Got it memorized?
After this quote-unquote civilized dialogue, Shion is also brought back into the mix, who was originally programmed as a replica on Xemnas' side, but thanks to Roxas, she remembers who she is. Wait, hold the phone. You're telling me that if I somehow hypothetically get amnesia, all that needs to happen is I need to get kicked in the face by Mr. Human Subwoofer over here. Okay, let me actually write that really quick anti-amnesia tip down. I'm off topic, I gotta get back on track. This is where Lee finally remembers her and where Roxas comes back in one of the most epic moments of the game and saves them all from being the first people that will have killed by the human subwoofer as a death cause written in their autopsy report. Okay, I need to chill the fuck out, for real now. After fighting against Xemnas, Lee and Roxas and Shion finally get to reunite after the whole shit show they've all been through over the last few games. That's pretty much it. Thanks to everyone for tuning in to the first episode of Kingdom Hearts Character Stories. More videos to come. Until then, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.